Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Fireside Chat number
277.
277. Dennis Prager here. And I have no idea how long trusty Otto will be here. In fact, that was it. At least you saw that he was here. This is a new Otto, I'd say in the last 6 months. Maybe, oh wait, okay, his brother's coming in, which is just as fine. Even though he's a little less well known, he's pretty well known. This is everybody, this is Snoopy. Very serious opening thoughts, and then take your questions, as always. So this week marks the year anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and I'd like to address this extremely important subject. There are many conservatives who are opposed to American aid to Ukraine. The argument goes, and you know what? Before I offer their argument and respond, I want to say a very important thing. Someone I deeply admire holds the views on the subject that I differ with. I continue to deeply admire him. I'm talking about Tucker Carlson of Fox News. It is very important in life to understand that people you admire may differ with you on any given subject. Now, if the subject is one that is a sort of make or break deal, that's a tough issue. If somebody really thinks it is a good thing to have 18-year-old girls have their breasts cut off if they say they're boys, I have to say it would be difficult to say I continue to admire that person. So I'm very open with you. There are positions that one could take that would trouble me to the point where could I really say I continue to admire the person. That's what I call a moral bank account. I came up with this term many, many years ago. Everyone, you have one, I have one, every living person has a moral bank account. The good stuff is a deposit, the bad stuff is a withdrawal. Every one of us has deposits and withdrawals. So even if I differ with somebody on the issue of Ukraine, and I think, in my opinion, it's a withdrawal, in their opinion, mine is a withdrawal, their net balance is well into what we call the black. They have still a really good moral bank account, in my opinion. So I just want to make that clear about some of my favorite conservatives. I think Charlie Kirk would be another example, if I'm not mistaken. Does anybody know? Yeah. And I was just with Charlie in Phoenix, and we're very close. So I just need to say that in advance, because if you can only admire people with whom you agree on everything, you will admire no one. Just worth knowing that. Okay, having said that, one of the chief arguments that I hear offered against American aid to Ukraine is, why do we care about Ukraine's borders when we don't care about our own? That, to me, is a classic example of a non sequitur. A non sequitur is an idea that has no relationship to the other or previous idea. That we utterly neglect our own border, which is an act of truly destructive proportions to the United States of America or to any country, is a fact. That the left would like us to have as many people come in as possible to this country, legally or illegally, is also a fact. Why they do is a separate subject, but they do. What does that have to do with Ukraine? I can make, I think, an unassailable argument. Let's say we did nothing with regard to Ukraine. Would that change anything with regard to America's borders? No, of course not. The two are completely unrelated. The reason that the current administration of the United States and the Democratic Party generally doesn't care about sealing our border is because they want a lot of people to enter the country. For one thing, they believe that it will bring more voters for them. That's one obvious reason. And by the way, big business is in collusion, to use a terrible word, with them because they want cheap labor. It's very odd that people who don't earn a lot and want a better paying job are okay with the party that is letting in so many people who will compete with them for the lowest possible wages. So back to the point, one has nothing to do with the other. So that argument has no validity, in my opinion, because it's unrelated. Doing something for Ukraine has nothing to do with whether or not America protects its own borders. Nothing whatsoever. We should do both. We should protect our borders, and we should not let Ukraine be overrun by invading Russian forces. Because if we do, it means that the United States, for the first time in 100 years, has retreated from the world and has basically said, if you don't invade America, do all the invasions you like. You want to take over Taiwan, China? Have a nice day. We have our own problems to worry about. This is not the American way of thinking. It is not a good way. It is not a moral way. It is not a pro-American way. If America is perceived as weak in the world, it is bad for America, and it is horrible for the world. And yes, America should be the world's policeman. And I've made this argument before, maybe not on a fireside chat, but certainly in writing. And the reason is this. The world needs a policeman just like your city needs policemen. Because there are bad people who will hurt innocent people if there's no policeman. I don't want to defund the American police, and I don't want to defund the international American police. And that is for the same reason. Bad people will hurt a lot more innocent people if there is no policeman, but there will never be no policeman. The question is not will there be a world policeman? The question is who will be that policeman? And if it isn't America, it will be China or the United Nations as examples, or even perhaps Russia. Is that better for America? Is that better for the world? I can't think of a more frightening scenario, frankly. So this argument, who made us the world's policeman? The answer is America made us the world policeman, and for good reason. Because if there isn't a decent policeman, there will be indecent policemen. Those are powerful arguments. Another one is to answer, well, the Ukrainian regime is corrupt. That's probably true. There's probably a lot of corruption in Ukraine. There is a lot of corruption in a lot of countries. And I am sorry to say, for the first time in my life, I am saying it's even in America. All right, at this point, let me remind you that to see the rest of this fireside chat, please go to PragerU.com. Subscribe there so that you could always see the fireside chats there. We don't trust social media to allow us to stay up indefinitely. And so this is really important. And there's a lot more to be said. So go to PragerU.com and we'll continue.